front lines of Kargil. The fury of Operation Sindhu.
So many attacks.
The chaos and cries of disaster zones.
Good evening and welcome to Left, Right and Centre. I'm Vishnu Shom. It's been quite the week so far, the India Impact Summit at Bharat Mandapam, bringing together 20-odd heads of state, hundreds of tech gurus from across the world, their focus on artificial intelligence, AI. It comes at a time when we are across the world very much at a crossroads. The technology can be immensely useful, it can be immensely intimidating. There is a lack of policy, there is a lack of law, and there is a general sense that we aren't quite aware where the tech is going, amidst a lot of concerns that it's growing too fast and too smart in a finite period of time. Separate iterations of AI across the world are developing at a pace which some would suggest is a bit concerning. But there are others who point to the fantastic benefits of AI, whether it's in medicine, whether it's in science, so many other areas, employment opportunities, while others say that no, hang on, employment opportunities may be on the decline. On this program, we've got some of the finest minds who've been appearing at the in.ai NDTV summit of AI that's on the sidelines of what's been happening at the Bharat Mandapam. But we'll also tell you about the Prime Minister's important meetings at the Bharat Mandapam today. This is India's AI moment. India quite clearly an early mover when it comes to appealing to leaders and companies across the world, advocating for the responsible use of AI, speaking about the need for regulation, speaking about working together, speaking about the need for equity and for equitable access to AI. The Prime Minister has been at the Bharat Mandapam. He's been meeting several international leaders and also tech gurus, making the point that this must be technology for all and it must be beneficial for all. So the Delhi Declaration, when it does happen, will focus on this premise.
In a major moment for digital age, India has placed itself at the center of the global artificial intelligence movement. By hosting the India AI Impact Summit in the capital, New Delhi has become a trusted partner from the Global South. PM Modi welcomed top world leaders, technology titans, researchers and innovators at the Bharat Mandapam. From the UN chief, IMF head to other world leaders, their presence shows one clear thing. India is no longer just part of the AI revolution, it's leading it. The leaders also saw India's rich culture at Bharat Mandapam. India is proud of its unity and diversity. India's approach to AI is all about inclusive growth. Union Minister Ashwini Vaishnav announced that India has secured the Guinness World Records title for the most pledges received for an AI responsibility campaign in 24 hours. Mr. Vaishnav also emphasized that India's vision for responsible innovation is guiding light for global AI journey ahead. The country wants AI to improve public health, agriculture, among other areas. India is also focused on creating ethical and safe AI rules. This summit shows India's promise to build AI for people, not just for the industry, and world leaders are already praising such efforts. One special part of the summit was its focus on young people and future builders. With many startups, student events and innovation displays, The summit became a celebration of Indian creativity. With focus on three sutras like people, planet and progress, much more is in store for the world in the coming days.
Well, we've all used Wikipedia at some stage or the other, but with AI now evolving at the pace that it is, with so many options that do exist, what is the future of Wikipedia? My colleague Aditya Raj Kaul spoke to the co-founder, Jimmy Wales, of Wikipedia. We asked him some direct questions. He also spoke about how India is significant in the global development of artificial intelligence.
Hello and welcome to NDTV. We are coming to you live from the Bharat Mandapam, where the AI Impact Summit is underway. Over the next couple of days, global leaders from more than 20 countries would be arriving here, apart from 45 ministerial delegations, talking about AI, technology disruptions and what the future looks like. They will also be debating with the top CEOs and tech honchos what the future looks like and what will be India's contribution really in the next few years. To discuss that and a lot more, joining me live here is one and only Jimmy Wales, the co-founder of Wikipedia. Thank you very much, Jimmy, for taking out time for NDTV.
Thank you.
A lovely morning here in New Delhi. What are your thoughts on the AI Summit?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's all the energy of India, all these people coming together from all around the world. I know when I first heard about the event, I thought it would be big. It's bigger than that. It's an amazing event.
Well, one thing that is known from India is that the common people play a very key role in bringing in color, but also innovation. So in this particular case, we've had more than 2 lakh registrations, more than 200,000 people coming here, arriving here. It's been quite a challenge for the government to really, handle the entire situation. But when it comes to India's contribution to artificial intelligence, what kind of breakthroughs, innovation do you think that India is really making in this regard?
Well, I think it's really interesting about India, like for us, for Wikipedia, it's like the 3rd largest group of people contributing to English Wikipedia, and of course we're in 25 Indic languages. So we see that very tech-savvy young community in India with a lot of energy. They are, of course, looking at AI. One of the interesting and positive things about AI is its facility with language and many different languages. That needs to be improved, of course, but that's pretty exciting. And so I think India is very well poised with a strong tech sector, a lot of software developers who are now able to increase their productivity and a very entrepreneurial culture. I think it's a very exciting time.
Also, often the claims being made and what we see around us is that the AI also slowly is getting into a dangerous terrain, especially when we speak about global conflicts. The biggest of all in the recent times has been the Russia-Ukraine conflict over the last 4 years. There is increasing role of artificial intelligence when it comes to the battlefield, when it comes to robotics, weapons being used. So do you think that increasingly the AI could be used for weaponization when it comes to ideologies, when it comes to the battlefields? Who really decides where the line can be drawn?
Well, I mean, for us, we're all about knowledge. I know nothing about weapons, so I can't really speak to that. Sure. Obviously, I see the news like anyone, and it's a bit worrying. But when we think about, in the realm of ideas, this is one of the reasons we think knowledge is human is such an important part of it. We think about knowledge as always needing a human in the loop because the AIs can produce a lot of text. Is it valid or is it invalid? You need a human to really tell you that.
And on the regulation part, the safety part, which has been the top focus, be it in the first AI summit in UK or thereafter in South Korea, and last year the Action Summit in France, safety and regulation has been a huge debate. Be it in US, in China or the European Union, which brought in a legislation in this regard as well. So again, you say that human play a significant role, but can governments really take the lead in this? Can they actually control this? Or do you think the public-private partnership is the way ahead?
I mean, I think public-private partnership is the only possibility. I mean, governments are always a little bit slow to understand, a little bit slow to act, and can be very clumsy in the way that they regulate. At the same time, that public-private partnership means, really encouraging the development of positive use cases, really engaging with the citizens in new ways. And also we should, in addition to the dangers, we should also remember there's such huge, exciting things going on in medicine, for example, with the use of this technology to really be able to look at very neglected diseases and things like this. So it's an exciting time, it's a scary time. This is the world we live in.
You know, one thing that I've noticed over the years, and it's been 25 years of Wikipedia?
25 years,
wow.
Amazing, yeah.
Incredible, really, Jimmy. But, you know, on Wikipedia, ideologies really do not play a role. You know, your focus has been that public being given the platform to really spread knowledge in many ways. But has this been a problem that, you know, there have been various debates that, you know, the editing mechanism in Wikipedia is almost free for all. You know, volunteers can come in, they can edit as per their own aspirations, etc. But in future, how do you see AI taking control of editing, or do you think humans again will have a larger role?
I mean, I think it will all be humans. The community is already beginning to use AI tools a little bit here and there around the edges. They're very skeptical because we see how bad they actually are in terms of hallucinations and errors and things like this. But you know, we always think, I always think a lot about the health of the community. If you have a community that values truth, that values discourse, that values neutrality, then you can struggle with this. Of course, there's always some problem somewhere. This is the nature of human life. But you know, we're very passionate about keeping our core vision to that really belief in knowledge for everyone.
Jimmy, one of the concerns for India has been disinformation. Misinformation plays a significant role in the times of the social media. You know, millions of people out there putting out their own things. In fact, the news breaks first on social media, then it goes to the television channels or the newspapers. So how does the AI now counter disinformation? You know, India had this 4-day war last year with Pakistan. And one of the things observed by experts was the kind of disinformation that was coming in. Now, look at European Union. They have a platform called EU versus Disinformation that has been playing a leading role in this entire exercise. So are you concerned that disinformation is a huge challenge? I mean, X did come up with the community notes, but that is also based on the number of you know, replies that come in, perhaps ideologically linked.
Yeah, you know, it is a huge problem, and social media is grappling with it, some better than others, of course. For me, I hope that the public begins to realize the value of journalism, the value of traditional journalism, to say just because something comes across your social media, that doesn't mean it's true at all. You really need to wait, to be more reflective, think about, is it confirmed in reliable sources and things like this. This is how we look at things at Wikipedia, is we don't accept just like a random thing floating across the internet as being true. You really need quality behind it.
Well, Jimmy, thank you very much for joining here on NDTV.
Democratizing AI globally, ensuring that it is available to the largest number of people across the world, was one of the key themes which came up at NDTV's own session on artificial intelligence, our summit, Ind.ai. We spoke to Chris Lehane, the Chief Global Affairs Officer at OpenAI. OpenAI being one of the key organizations at the cusp of developing new AI tech, which might impact people across the world. Let's listen in to what he said.
Do countries like India need to focus very sharply on sovereign models and yet Sarvam in the morning speak before you? Because at some point in time, the concern is, can this be a global common good, or do we run the risk of becoming a data colony? So let's kickstart from there.
That's great. First of all, thank you for having me here. Thank you all for being here. Apologies for enjoying the Delhi traffic, as we talked about. But you know, it's always, I mean, India is always one of my favorite places to come to. And it sort of relates to the essence of your question. You know, when you get here, even when you get to the airport, and I got in, I think, late on Monday night, like the energy level here, like this is a country that is on the move. I mean, it is the world's largest democracy, but you just, like, I just love the energy here. I also love the food. So it's really a pleasure to be here. I actually thought we were here to talk about cricket. Isn't that T20 is here, right? But I'm actually going to connect the dots here if I could, because I did think I'll try to connect this. So, you know, I was flying over, and I was surprised to see that the U.S. cricket team, which apparently is called Team B, has actually been relatively competitive. And then I started to look at the roster of the U.S. team, and it was all Indian names, right? Patels, Navakar, I mean, a bunch of Indian names. And, you know, what it reminded me is the talent that exists here, the density of talent in India. Our office is in San Francisco. You know, when I walk around and I see the researchers, the people who are building this, our leading engineers, our product folks, so many of them are of Indian descent. But what's really interesting about what's going on in this country at this moment, at this time, is the talent is actually here on the ground in India building this. If you look at our underlying stats, and this is, by the way, why I think, you know, India is not just the world's largest democracy, but as the world's largest democracy leading the democratizing of AI, India is our OpenAI's second largest market in the world. There's 100 million people who use chat on a regular basis. But the underneath that number is the fact that around a third of those folks are students, right? So kids K through 12 and also in college. And what that tells me is that not only is AI accessible here, but there's a literacy that is building and developing, and even above and beyond the literacy, there is an agency. People are actually using this technology to build, to produce, to create, to learn, and to think. I think later today, we're going to, in fact, be announcing a partnership to bring on an additional 100,000 students working with a number of universities around the country, ITT in Delhi, the tech entity, IIMA, I think, which is the management one, and then AIMS, which really does medical and science. All of that says, like, this country has the energy, it has the talent, and it has people who are building on this day in and day out.
India can lead global AI adoption, but only with the right investments which do take place, the right skills and infrastructure. It's not something that happens instantly. It has to be there as part of a process. The energy consumption for large-scale data models, for example, is phenomenal. So there is an infrastructure bill which is critical for India to be a global leader as far as AI is concerned. We spoke to James Manika, the Senior Vice President for Technology and Society at Google. He was there at the Ind AI NDTV Summit. Let's listen in.
Professor Stuart Russell is very clear in the responsibility that big tech and AI majors need to have with regard to this transformative technology, and he clearly believes we're not doing enough.
Well, so Stuart's a friend. I've been a huge fan of Stuart Russell. I've worked with him for many years. And I think, it's the issues that he's raising are very important. I think it's important, and we've said this quite publicly, that, AI is too important not to regulate, and it's also not too important not to regulate well.
Right.
So I think both can be true. So I think it's important that we think about what are the right rules, what are the right ways to think about being responsible. And I often think that when it comes to questions of regulation and those kinds of things, we should have a two-sided view to that. On the one end, of course, regulation should pay attention to the complexities and the risks, the kinds of things that Stuart and others kind of raise as kind of risks that we should pay attention to. But I also think regulation has another side to it. It should also enable the possibilities we want. It should enable us and create incentives and mechanisms to allow us to innovate, tackle society's greatest challenges, and not limit the possibilities of impact. I'll give you an interesting experience that I had, Shweta. For about 2 years, I was co-chairing the UN's high-level body on AI. And one of the things I was interested when we were talking about the risks of AI was, obviously, we talked about the risks of misapplication and misuse. But the body as a whole, I think with a lot of input from some of the members from the Global South, including India, they actually insisted that one of the risks we should add is misuse.
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 Yeah, right. Not misuse, but misuse.
Well,
yes.
You have
Yes.
misapplication, misuse, but also misuse.
Right.
When you've got the possibility of a technology that can transform lives and improve health outcomes and education, and somehow you make it difficult to actually make use of it.
You work very closely with Sundar Pichai. You report directly to him, and he's clearly a legend when it comes to being a technology leader. His Indian origins and the fact that he is here in India and he is having these very important conversations. Share with us where his thinking is, both in terms of Google and Google's future and also the India part of it in the journey.
Well, I think one of the things that's quite remarkable about Sundar is actually several things. One is he's been thinking about this AI moment for a while. You remember when he became CEO, which is now almost 10 years ago, he declared that in fact Google was going to be an AI-first company. This is before the AI moment. So he's been thinking a lot about this and has had a lot of foresight. I mean, Google started working on various elements of what you might call the full stack of AI. We have our own chips, TPUs. We've been building models and tools. I think all of those are things that he's been putting in place for quite a while. So that's one aspect of him. I think another important aspect, which brings it back to India, is I think, in some ways, Sundar has a perfect marriage, if you like, with his own upbringing, but also Google's mission. If you think about Google's mission, which is to organize the world's information and make it universally accessible and useful, he fundamentally believes that. So when we think about how do we make sure this technology is available to everybody, accessible to everybody, is used by everyone everywhere, when we make pursue moonshots about working on languages, whether it's Indic languages here in India or around the world, these are things that matter deeply to him. And guess what? They happen to be fully consistent with Google's founding mission. So in some ways, he's doing what he should be doing.
Well, that's it then on Left, Right and Center. It's been quite the week. That's how I started this program. That's the way I'll end it. These conversations on AI may seem far-fetched. They may seem far away. They may not seem attached to our reality today. But the sense is that AI is going to impact our lives profoundly in just the next couple of months. The conversation we are having here today will be very different from the conversation 2 years later, because we are at the cusp of something critical for all humanity.
From the heart of the newsroom to the core of the stories shaping your world. Join me, Gargi Rawat, as I track all the developments as they break. Live from the NDTV newsroom, weekdays at 4 p.m.
इनको यहाँ से जाना ही होगा।
जय मां दुर्गा! और क्यों होए?
There is no bigger battle in 2026. And nobody has reported Bengal like I have. Buckle up for an unforgettable election thriller. Will the BJP breach Mamta's fortress?
TMC जावे, BJP आसपे.
Can Didi fight off her life's biggest challenge?
BJP double engine সরকার এই লড়াই বাঁচতে হবে।
Battleground Bengal with Manogya Loiwal.
Made in India क्यों नहीं? हमारे पास क्या है? Mustard oil. It is our flagship oil.
और हमें गर्व है कि 1933 से हम पी मार्क कच्ची घानी मस्टर्ड ऑयल का उत्पादन कर रहे हैं। इस मूल्यवान स्वदेशी प्रोडक्ट को बनाने में हमने खुद को समर्पित किया है पीढ़ियों से।
माँ भी हमेशा पी मार्क मस्टर्ड ऑयल में ही खाना बनाती थी।
कुछ तो बात है इस दिल में। P Mark, the mustard specialist since 1933.
सरसों से सरसों.
Across the country, he has tracked the pulse of power from Washington to Korea. Witnessed history being made in global capitals and conflict zones. Brought clarity to complex issues of national security and international affairs.
Aditya Rajgol, covering international affairs like no one else. Only on NDTV network.
From 1983 to now, I have seen cricket evolve, but the mindset to win never changed. I tell you that what win matches and what doesn't. This T20 World Cup, let's talk cricket, controversies and more on NDTV.
लोग कहते हैं कि जिंदगी एक फिल्म की तरह होती है, लेकिन मेरी जिंदगी सिर्फ एक फिल्म नहीं, एक ब्लॉकबस्टर फिल्म है। बचपन से पता था मेरे सपनों में दम है, आगे नहीं सबसे आगे जाना है, स्टार नहीं सुपरस्टार बन के दिखाना है। नाम मिला, फेम मिला, प्यार मिला, I was not just running, I was flying। सबकी जुबां पे बस एक ही नाम, यो हनी सिंगर। लेकिन फिर ब्लॉकबस्टर कहानी में आया एक ट्विस्ट, 7वें आसमान से सीधा गिरा मैं जमीन पर। फिर क्या, खुद पे काम दोबारा शुरू, फैंस ने फिर प्यार दिखाया, फिर स्टार नहीं सुपरस्टार बनाया। है ना मेरी जिंदगी एक ब्लॉकबस्टर फिल्म। शुक्रिया आपकी प्रेयर्स का और आपके प्यार का।